Montreal, Toronto. Here it is. Okay, listen. I'm not going to ask you guys for predictions. Alex is going to say Toronto. I'm going to say Montreal. Daniel, you're probably going to say Toronto. Listen. I have a lot of questions for this series, first off. And I think it's who is starting in net for both sides, because who knows where Carey Price's health right now, what the hell the decision with Frederik Andersen is going to be, and maybe a lot of that will have to do with how he plays against the Flames tonight.
Senators.
Sens. Why no? So I just quit the show now, the way things are going today?
No, this is...
I feel like I should be.
It's one of those days.
Yeah, one of those days. God damn it. Though, yeah, against the Sens, I think maybe that will kind of get a gauge of how if he gets a chance in that. It's going to be we're getting this series for the first time since, what was it, 79?
Mm-hmm.
First time in our life.
When I finished high school.
Yes.
Of course.
Peter back at Georgia and I. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Like looking at the season series, yeah, the Leafs very much dominated. I think it was 6 to what even was it, 7-3? I think for the Leafs. If anything for Montreal is that right now today, Weber, Deneau, Gallagher, and Price were all skating at practice. So the cavalry is coming for Montreal, who have been very banged up lately. They have not had Brendan Gallagher for God knows how long. And maybe adding to that list, now you have Cole Caulfield playing. Maybe they've figured out what they're doing with Sherratt playing on the right side, because that's good apparently. And for the Leafs, they're also going to get some of that. Riley Nash, we'll see. Nick Foligno will hopefully be good. I think he's apparently might be playing tonight as well.
I think he's a game time decision.
So honestly, I don't think this year we've actually quite seen the real potential of both these teams in their most complete form. Now, naturally, injuries are a part of the game, and you cannot use that as an excuse at the end of a playoff series. Otherwise, how many championships don't count? This is the way sports are. Though, I don't think this is going to be as lopsided as people think.
No, but I'm also sorry. Go ahead.
I was done.
No, I think there's some people looking at Toronto the wrong way, just in the way that this is my opinion, and listen, I'll take the fattest L of my life if they lose in the first round.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think this is the same team as last year. I don't think this is the same team as the year before that, or the year before that, or the year before that. And I think the additions that they made in the offseason answered the questions that every single person said. Where's the extra leadership? Jill Thornton, Wayne Simmons, Zach Bogosian. Where's the toughness? Wayne Simmons, Zach Bogosian, Nick Foligno. The list goes on. They solidified their defense. Despite what people say, TJ Brody, absolute significant addition to that first pairing. Zach Bogosian, I haven't talked about the third pairing all year. Mm-hmm. That should tell you something. So I don't think I'm not saying there's no weaknesses for this team. I'm saying that the weakness of the past, I don't think is the weakness of the present.
I think it's very weird to say, but it's very fair that I think the team, at the end of the day, the Leafs have to win a round. I think they really do. Otherwise, maybe there needs to be some question. They have to win a round. That is not up for discussion.
They have to win 2 rounds. If they don't get out of this division, someone's traded.
Yeah, that's a bit of the issue there. Yeah,
someone's traded.
Though somehow I think crazily, and I'm saying this very carefully, the Habs are probably the team that feel the most pressure. You talk about leadership. I think that a guy like Thornton has probably alleviated the stress, and probably because you don't have the scrums net. I think the atmosphere of the pressure in the Toronto media has definitely very much kind of taken away from maybe the dark aura that's been around the Leafs. It hasn't stopped things for the Habs, because it feels like that maybe what's going on with Jonathan Drouin, but and just with everything that's gone on with the Canadiens off the ice this season with so many firings on that, and Bergevin's contract's apparently in the air now. It's a weird, and in this position with these two different teams that honestly, I'd say the Habs are the ones mostly under pressure here, or
In
at least
what
the ones
way?
that are going to feel it. Because sorry, go ahead, Dan.
I think like what Adam's saying is this more of like with Toronto. I think that if Toronto were to lose,
Yeah.
there's be a lot more assessment with things where there will be a change, but I think there'd be more speculation discussion before that. I think for Montreal, it's more of like there's been so many changes already throughout the season that like this might be the final straw.
There's also a mental thing that the Leafs definitely looked like they had it last year. Like there was, especially after the Babcock stuff. This year, because of the guys they've brought in, I don't think the Leafs necessarily like how often are they going to have a bad day in that locker room? I don't think so. Like that's what I mean by like really feeling it. I don't know how many days a lot of players, especially with COVID and that, in Montreal have gone to the rink and are really, really happy that day. You know, and there's been some really bad stretches. That's what I kind of mean by the whole thing of pressure. You know, I don't think there's been a lot of people saying, grr, Toronto this year, when last year there was very much a very big grr. You know, especially when you look at the playoff race that they have very clearly been first in the division all year, the best team in the North Division. When last year it was a tag, not it, with the Florida Panthers for third in the Atlantic.
Right. I just think that if they do lose, and I may that shouldn't be and you're right, the mindset in the room isn't this, but I think the mindset outside of it is if they lose, there's going to be a lot of questions. But in the room, I think you're right. I don't think there's as much pressure in the room based on the additions that they made.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? That's you don't. And I think that's the point of Thornton. Like we question, why the hell is he playing? Well, that's why. He's there to make the guys feel good about themselves. And, you know, confidence is a hell of a drug.
Right.
Very much a hell of a drug. And listen, the Habs, we all know, are the most physical team. And, like, don't always believe hits just because oftentimes if a team doesn't have a ton of hits, if a team has a lot of hits, they might not have the puck as much.
I'm excited to see playoff Wayne Simmons and Nick Foligno against, you know, Corey Perry, Josh Anderson.
I know. I was thinking about that the other day. It's like the intensity is like, man, just Corey Perry being Corey Perry is just always, you know, he's going to be in Jack Campbell or Frederick Anderson's kitchen all night. And then Wayne Simmons is going to do the same thing to Jake Allen or Carey Price.
Yeah. Speaking of the goaltenders, I don't think there's a question. It doesn't really matter what happens tonight. Jack Campbell is starting game one.
So you're saying we're not going to see the David Riddick inspired Felix Potvin equipment in the playoffs?
Who has that? Freddie?
No, David Riddick. He recently changed it into it's like Felix Potvin inspired.
I don't think we are going to see David Riddick this playoffs, barring catastrophe.
Barring what happened to Colorado last year.
Right.
Oh God.
Like I think Jack Campbell is starting. I think CJ said that there's going to be a back-to-back game 3 and 4 because for whatever reason they don't want to put, I don't know what, for whatever reason they don't want to start earlier. Like today's Montreal's last game, right?
Yeah. So
the Leafs' last game is on Friday. So why are we starting on Wednesday?
Hey,
I don't know.
It's weird. What are they doing? What in the world are the NHL doing? Okay. It'll be a fun series. It'll be a fun series nonetheless. And we're
still going to be friends.
Yeah. I just really, it really sucks that there are no fans. Because atmosphere at Habs Leafs games are always great because just the pockets of the other fan base that show up at the home buildings are always really, really fun.
That's the worst part about all this.
Yeah, that we don't we won't really get to experience this.
Right.
We won't be at Maple Leaf Square.
No.
/ Jurassic Park.